Hello, hello, and welcome back to Bacon. Also, welcome back to Cinderella phenomenon, Evermore. Let's see. I will go ahead and apologize about any kind of sound issues because we're in the process of doing a lot of spring cleaning in the winter. The jack of all trades. Thank gods that council meeting is over. So, in other words, I'm basically saying that there's no way for me to kind of do any kind of sound control like I usually do, or I attempt to do anyway, but I'm hoping the sound won't be too crazy. I actually have the mic a little bit lower than usual to kind of make up for it, so we shall see. I am relieved to be back in my quiet room after listening to the counselors again argue about taxes for hours. Finally, I can hear myself think. I look down at my scarf for Chevalier, which after about a week's worth of work is almost done. I should be able to finish it today. I seat myself at my desk and begin working. My mind wanders in silence, my thoughts turning toward Chevalier. Though a week has passed since he started seeing patients, I can tell he is stressed. One night when he again fell asleep on my desk, I heard him mumbling in his sleep. I could tell he was having an old nightmare, one in which he kills a witch with a serpent's smile and loses one of his dearest friends. I know it's the same dream because he always whispers the words, "I'm sorry I couldn't save you, Lady Parfait." I become so lost in thought I prick my finger. The pain brings me back to reality. So she is using needles. I need to focus. Because there was always the possibility that maybe she was like knitting, but it's always been indicated that she works with cloth rather than yarn. So when she sat on it, I was like, are you sure you're not sitting on the needle? Plus, on top of that, you don't just use one needle when you're sewing. You also have to use the little pin needles too. That she sat on. Oh no. I turn my attention back to the scarf, but the minute I resume sewing, a knock sounds on my door. Princess Lucette? You may come in. Fritzy! Well, I kind of like his outfit, how it's like the black and the white to indicate both him and Varg. Fitzgerald Aidan Leverton slips into my room with this pleasant smile affixed to his face, and I'm so glad you lived. Fritz. 2 years ago, I thought he'd disappear forever, destroyed by a villainous witch. Oh, that's right, he did. This is one of the routes he disappeared. He came back! But it turns out he managed to escape the kingdom during that turbulent time. His memories are fragmented, but we've been able to piece together that Mithros cursed him. And that the man named Varg was actually Fritz's curse for him. That's right, in this route, he didn't know, they didn't know, nobody knew nothing. In the case of Fritz, anyway. Father was wary and removed Fritz from his post as my personal guard, but I at least was able to save his job as a knight. Good morning, Princess. He bows. Good morning, Fritz. He eyes the fabric on my desk. I had no idea you made scarves, Princess. I don't usually. Wait, what did you just say? That I didn't know you made scarves? I laugh before I can help it. Fritz looks at me startled. He thinks it looks like a scarf. Perhaps I am not so terrible as I thought. That's kind of cute. Princess? It's nothing, Fritz. Thank you. Fritz smiles quizzically before awkwardly shuffling on his feet. I can tell by the nervous motion that he has something to say. Did you come to deliver a message? Actually, yes. I came by to let you know the Border Scouts saw a Brugantian carriage approaching this morning. Prince Claude and Prince Lance were in it. They'll arrive at the palace this afternoon. Oh, look at the new faces! He looks more boyish right here, though, than he did in the last one, even though he's supposed to be 2 years older. And he was already kind of older to begin with, wasn't he? Like, he was at least a year older than she was. His Majesty tells me their visit is, quite spontaneous. How very like Claude to show up unexpectedly and dramatically. Ever since Angela and Brigantia formed a more dedicated alliance, Claude and his brother have been visiting more often, and usually without prior notice. I've just received the news, so I'm on my way to help organize security. I appreciate you notifying me beforehand. Thank you, Fritz. Fritz ducks into a bow, then pauses. One more thing. I met Princess Emily in the hallway. She asked me to tell you to meet her in the dining room. What for? Fritz shakes his head. I don't know. All I know is she and the Queen are waiting for you. Ophelia as well. It's rare for her to call on me. I will go meet with them then. Thank you, Fritz. Fritz has just turned toward the door when it occurs to me to ask a question, one I have been meaning to ask for a long time. Fritz, have you been enjoying your job? It is not my fault Fritz was demoted, and yet I feel responsible that I could not save him from Mithros all those years ago. Fritz glances over his shoulder with a gentle smile. You don't have to worry, Princess. Even if I can't personally serve you anymore, I get to keep protecting people, and protecting is what I do best. He is a Power Ranger. It's official. That is canon. He is the medieval Power Ranger. One of 3. Despite his smile, there is melancholy in Fritz's eyes that makes my heart ache. I hope he does not blame himself for what happened years ago. Take care, Princess. I sit in silence after he leaves, my mind foggy with memories of the past. I think about Chevalier and his nightmares, about the blood he must remember on his hands. I think about Fritz and the terrible witch who cursed him. And I think about Mother, whom I was meant to revive. We feed off negativity and chaos. Love serves us no power. You will see that in time. Mother, I wish we could have seen eye to eye. I wish I could have saved you from yourself before you were lost to me forever. I rise to my feet. I was going to finish the scarf, but I have no time if I am to attend to my family. For now, I stuff it into a drawer for safekeeping. I wonder what Eme and Ophelia want. I head for the dining hall. Servants are setting the table for tea when I enter. I am taken aback when I see a plate of familiar lily-shaped biscuits on the surface. That's cute. Oh, Lucette. There was no need to change up Ophelia's face. Other than giving her the extra lines, that's cute. She's very pretty. I like this dress. I like both of her dresses, but I really like this one. I think it looks really good on her. I also like the see-through sleeves. That's very pretty. I love see-through sleeves. Especially bell sleeves. Those are amazing. Good afternoon, Lucette. Emmeline told me there was a new dessert in town named for you. I had a servant pick up a batch on an errand run. Have you tried them? They're delicious. If Chev were here, he'd be wiggling his eyebrows at me. Yes, Chevalier has already forced them on me. Ophelia laughs. You make it sound like a form of torture. Well, he did do it all without me knowing. Ophelia and Emmeline share a look, then burst into laughter. Once the sound would have infuriated me. Now I recognize the banter for what it is, an attempt to get closer to me. I used to shun such attempts. Now I'm grateful for them. They're so pretty. Ophelia has always been very supportive of my relationship with Chevalier. Perhaps because she too was once a commoner. So, what'd you call me here for? Is this about the Brugantian princess? I almost messed up both those words real hard. I raise an eyebrow at Emmeline. Did you know they were visiting? Emmeline laughs. I've known for a long time. I sent Prince Lance an invitation to the Spring Festival weeks ago. The Angeal Spring Festival is an annual event. Last year, Chevalier showed me the decorated stalls and carts, but I was so busy I barely had the chance to appreciate it. I had completely forgotten it was coming up. Oh dear. I smile at Emmeline. How bold of you to invite a prince to a festival. Ha ha! I just thought Lance might like to see some of our celebrations firsthand. He's always telling me about Brugantian festivals. So this whole visit was actually orchestrated by you. Does Rod know? I'm sure he realizes at this point. I don't think Rod could ever remain angry at you for long, Emmeline. I hope not. The worry on Emmeline's face is thankfully quick to fade. Anyway, you didn't come here to listen to me babble. Oh, then why am I here? Ophelia gestures to a chair at the table. I sit myself beside Emmeline. I hear you've been quite busy with meetings lately. We rarely see you. You're always in meetings or training with magic. Those are my responsibility as the crown princess, and as the Tenenbaum bearer, yes. But while those duties are important, you also have a duty to take care of yourself. You need to relax. Chevalier says the same thing. He took me to a cafe. Does that not count as a break? Oh, I thought you were forced into that. Sassy! It was not the most unpleasant thing. I'm glad to hear it. Oh, a little smile! And I hope you'll be glad to hear that Chevalier and I have come up with a way for you to do your duty as Crown Princess while also taking a break. You've been plotting. I have a bad feeling about this. Plotty McPlotters. Emmeline claps her hands together. You and I are going to be in charge of the town festivities this year. What? Emmeline grasps my hands. Lucette, it's going to be great. I've already ordered some decorations from Viorica's, and I almost called her Viorica's for a second. And a niece is going to help us brainstorm ideas. It's gonna be a girl party, but Oh, we should ask Sir Waltz if he'd perform a special magic show. Oh, you should perform, Lucette. Emmeline, dear, it looks like Lucette wants to say something. I love you guys. Yes? I don't know how to plan a festival. And my magic. Your magic is beautiful. I look up the words, surprised. Chevalier said you'd be good at this, and he knows you best, doesn't he? Be that as it may, we don't want to force you into anything, Lucette. As always, Chevalier goes out of his way to lift my spirits when he is the one that needs to take a break, but maybe. I will do it, but only if Chevalier is given time off. Do you think he'll take it even if it's offered? If I need to, I'll call this a date and force him to come with me. Both Ophelia and Emmeline stare at me. What? Nothing. It's just good to see you two looking out for each other. Emmeline smiles brightly. You're done with your meeting, right? In that case, would you like to accompany me to the Marchen? I'd like to talk to Sir Waltz about the magic show. What if the Brigantian prince arrives when you're out? Don't you want to be here to greet Lance? Oh, you're right. Emily looks so downtrodden I can't help but feel guilty for bringing it up. Perhaps it wouldn't hurt to take a break from all that sewing. I can still go to the tavern. I do not mind requesting his assistance on your behalf. Are you sure? It is no problem. You invited Lance. He should be here when he arrives. In that case, I'm going to start preparing for his arrival. Okay, I'm gonna go get gussied up. Bye, sister! Thank you, Lucette. Emmeline walks away with a little bounce in her step, leaving Ophelia and I alone. Ah, to be young and in love. Foreseeing an uncomfortable turn in the conversation, I begin to excuse myself when Ophelia speaks. Lucette, may I ask you a question? Yes? Chevalier, how is he taking to the palace life? Ooh. I know how difficult it is to incorporate yourself into a social sphere you weren't born into. Is there anything I can do to help? Well, first, my dear, we're gonna save. Yes. Let me go back. Okay. Let me see. Ask Ophelia about her past or ask for advice. I'm really curious about her past, to be honest. We're gonna go with this one first, even if it's not the right one. He insists that things are going well, but I know he is stressed over his patients. They look down on him, and he refuses to stand up for himself. What did you do when you first came to the palace? Ophelia's lips curl into a wistful smile. I felt very small when I arrived. The nobles spread illicit rumors and mocked my etiquette. They told me I would never be good enough. I was one of those people. Ophelia seems to guess at my thoughts. She smiles and sets a hand on my shoulder. Your whole life had just been upturned when I came into your life. Your feelings toward me were understandable. In the beginning, your father stood up for me, but there was only so much he could do. In the end, if I wanted to be a part of this court, I had to learn its rules. So I learned how to be a queen. I took lessons and learned how to speak to the people who threw insults at my back, and then, one day, the insults stopped hurting. You and Emmeline and Rod, you've had to endure so much. And so have you. Thank you for acknowledging that, Ophelia. Thank you. But we have all come out stronger for it, haven't we? Yes, we have. I never thought I'd be having this conversation with Ophelia, yet here we are. Remember, Lucette, you can't fight Chevalier's battles for him, but you can be there to help him. Chevalier knew what he was getting himself into when he moved here. Did he? Love gives us the courage to fight intimidating battles. You know that just as well as I do, don't you? You knew this would be a difficult relationship, yet you still pursued it. Baby! Baby! My poor little coughing girl. I've never cared about others' opinions of me, but Chev... Have faith, Lucette. Chevalier is a doctor. He's no stranger to pressure. Ophelia is right. Chevalier has never doubted my ability to do anything. I need to trust him. Thank you for listening to me, Ophelia. Okay, real quick, this is just, they're trying to indicate how well that Chevalier knows her, that, you know, she needs to trust him, etc., but it's like, I didn't get any of that from the last route, honestly. It feels kind of like they're trying to force the whole, she just needs to trust him, when in truth, he never did anything in particular to create that trust in the first place. It was kind of a foundation of flippy floppiness, if that makes sense. For instance, the whole him constantly flirting with a bunch of other women, her not being able to decide if his behavior is okay or not, just very flippy floppy. And I just don't feel like that was a very good foundation for trust. And now they're trying to really force even though he didn't do anything significant that makes him trustworthy, you need to trust him anyway, even if you have your doubts. Even if you are feeling kind of weak about the relationship, in whatever regard, you just need to trust him. And I don't know how to feel about that. Again, I might just be reading too much into this, but that is just how I see it right now. Of course, you and Chevalier are always welcome to ask me for advice. Though I'd also love for us to talk about more pleasant things over tea someday. Ooh, I could really go for some tea, thinking about it. I got a pumpkin spice smoothie from Smoothie King, but I'm just feeling some tea now. Every time somebody mentions tea, I'm like, I happen to have a whole collection of tea I still need to drink. Just a little extra about me. She gestures towards the biscuits. And perhaps we can share Princess Lily Platter. I clear my throat. I'm going to the marching now. I hurriedly curtsy and exit the dining hall to Ophelia's soft laughter. At the insistence of the guards, I take a carriage in the town. Though it is still awkward, I try my best to smile and wave at people as I pass through. I do not get the same reception as Emily and Rod, but I do not mind. It takes time to rebuild trust, and I am happy with how far I've progressed. I am in good spirits when we reach the Marchen. I expect the tavern to be busy at this time of day, but I am ill prepared for how packed it is when I enter. What in the world is happening? Look, it's the princess. Two women push through the crowd to speak to me. Have you come to watch the performance? Performance? The magic show. Is Waltz performing? Oh no, the Lucis bearer is. I nearly choke on my own breath. What? You must know him, Princess Lucette. What's he like? He sounds so mysterious. Oh no, they're simping for a child and they don't know it yet, do they? Oh no! Oh no! They'll be very disappointed when they find out Cinna is just a grumpy child. Please let them be disappointed. After sating the women's curiosity with a vague but apparently intriguing description, I push my way through the crowd toward the bar where I've spotted Delora. Princess Lucette, how nice of you to join us. What is going on? Well... Magic! I stumble back. Where did you... I thought you were at the palace. How are you here? Chevalier wiggles his fingers and speaks in a whisper. Magic. You wish you could do magic, Casanova. Dolores sighs. He just dropped by after doing a medicine supply run at Anissa's. Lady Delora, must you dampen the intrigue with the truth? I figured that for once the princess won a straight answer. See what I mean by there's just like a... It's not like he's done necessarily anything like horrendous to lose trust, but he hasn't really done anything to gain trust either. Well, at least with Lucette, technically. Since she's gonna ignore the whole way that he treated Karma, anyway. Because that alone was enough. Anyway. You got here just in time for me to avoid a rant. For what? I turn at the sound of applause to see Waltz standing in the center of the room. Beautiful, Waltz. Good day, everyone. My name is Waltz, and I'm here to introduce you to another performer who's here to spread some happiness and magic. You're so pretty. Everyone, please welcome the Lucis bearer Sinna. His eyes are pretty. His lips are pretty. His hair is pretty. He's super pretty. He's pretty. He's pretty. Anyway. You think he's pretty too, don't you, Ashes? When Sinna slides out of the crowd, there are gasps and murmurs. Hello, citizens of Angiel. My name is Cinna. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. Cinna claps his hands. His fingers begin to glow, and then... miniature magic-induced fireworks pop above his head, creating a halo of colors. And a pleasure to entertain you today. The audience applauds, but I am too shocked to join them. He's so... cheerful. What's up with that? It's almost scary, right? Dolores smirks. Cinna's grump at heart. But I think he's taken your advice and let himself open up to the Lucis. Sinna weaves his fingers through the air, creating flowers that rain down from the ceiling. While the audience cheers, I reach up to brush the petals off my head. I stop when Chevalier gently sets his fingers on my wrist. You look beautiful, Lucette. There's a soft wonder in his eyes that brings a smile to my face. What, with petals on my head? You wear them like a crown. The compliment is so sincere it makes my heart flutter. I love Chevalier's dramatics, but more than that, I love when he speaks to me like this, like we're the only people in the room. Oh? You have a crown of flowers in your head too. Are you also royalty? Chevalier's smile wavers slightly. I don't necessarily think that he has commitment issues in regard to Lucette. I just think he seems to be having some commitment issues in regards to getting married. And it was already kind of explained that it's because, like, he feels like he's not good enough for Lucette and that, like, he might bring her a bad name or whatever. But I don't know. That's just another thing that makes me wonder how much trust that there is. But could that really be considered a trust issue if it's not technically either of their faults? I lace my fingers through his. If that's what you want, Chev, I have no doubt you'll grow into that title. Title? Whatever title you'd like, Lord, nobleman. I bite my lip before I can say the word king. That was the correct Wow, that took forever. I spoke with Ophelia today. The story about how she became queen is inspiring. I just realized that we hadn't seen that thing yet. That took a long time. A lot. Holy moly. That's not okay. Chevalier's eyes are twinkling. And yes, I know I've been told multiple times now that it's just going to take a while. That doesn't mean I appreciate that. I don't appreciate it the slightest. I like knowing sooner rather than later so that I don't go through all this craziness twice. Kitty, you don't like it either, do you, honey? See, my cat's arguing even. I wish I could have been there to hear it. Well, we both have an open invitation to tea, so I'm sure she'd be happy to share the tale again. I would enjoy that very much. Chevalier squeezes my hand. Be honest with me, Chev. Is everything okay? I think I have an idea of how to make things better. An idea? Yes, Princess Lucette. I startle when Sinna calls my name. The crowd parts so that I can see him. I knew you'd be here. Care to show the audience what the Tinnerbran Bearer can do? Or are you afraid I'll upstage you? Little brat? I bristle at the taunt. Everyone in the tavern is looking at me expectantly. Ho ho, that sounds like a challenge. I slide my fingers out of Chevalier's and turn to Sinna. I can outperform you any day. Don't take the bait. Don't take from a child even, Lucette. Oh, come on. I know that he's the Lucis Bear and I talk about how he needs to be treated as more than a child, but don't take the bait. Talk is cheap. Show us what you can do. Aren't you having issues with your magic? Hasn't it been fritzing? Is this not... Why would you think this is a good idea? Why would you think this is a good idea? Why would anyone think this is a good idea? I am actually going to save right here and end things for now. Right before possible chaos brews. Anyway, thank you guys for joining me. I am Bacon, and this so far has been Cinderella Phenomenon. Evermore, we are still in Rumpel/Chev's route, but apparently we don't have that much longer to go before we can get on to the other routes. Woohoo! If you like the video, prefer to like the video. If you like me, prefer to like, subscribe, comment, all that lovely stuff. And I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye!